Am I the a-hole for no longer bringing dinner to my wife after she claimed I never cook? I work at a nice restaurant as a cook, and every day when I get off from work, I always cook dinner for my wife and our 2 kids, 8 male and 6 female, at the restaurant before coming home. The only time I don't cook for them is on weekends when I'm off, and that's when my wife does the cooking. We usually trade off who makes breakfast and lunch for the kids every day, but for the week, I'm always the one bringing home dinner. On weekends, we sometimes get together with friends, and they come over to the house. My wife usually cooks, and I help set the table and clean afterward. One of her friends, Stacy, asked how come I never do any of the cooking and it is always my wife making meals for the kids, especially when I'm a cook myself. Instead of correcting her, my wife sort of laughed and went along with it, making jokes about how it is, and Stacy laughed because her ex-husband was the same way. Then she sort of ripped on me in a joking way about how I better buck up before I become Jim and X too. My wife just said, "We'll see if he actually listens and starts cooking for once," joking about all the time I spend in the kitchen at work, but won't do the same at home. It really pissed me off. I'm not the husband that just doesn't do anything after I'm home from work. I cook food for her and the kids at work, and on top of that, I make separate dishes for each of them, what she wants and what the kids want, all that after standing on my feet all day. We talked about it once they left because I don't appreciate being told I'm not doing something she knows for a fact I do. She didn't want to apologize for it because it was all just to be a funny joke. Even after telling her about how it hurt my feelings being put down like that, my wife said she felt like she had to go along with the joke so there wouldn't be any awkward vibes, whatever that means. But I said fine. If she can't apologize for something that was mean just so she could laugh along with her friends, then I won't keep doing something she already claims I don't do. So for the past week, I've only brought home dinner for our kids, and she's had to make her own food. Now she's mad that I'm refusing to feed her over what happened instead of letting it go. But I can't help but feel mad about being made fun of like that when I'm busting my ass off to provide for my family and still making sure they have food on the table every evening. She just thinks I'm an a-hole for how I'm reacting when she's already tired at the end of the day, but still having to make food for herself. So am I the a-hole? Posters respond to one of the comment. I'm sad about it, to be honest. We've never had an issue like this before, even with our own parents, who used to look down on me before my cooking actually took me somewhere. Additional information from the poster's comments. First of all, I wouldn't and won't joke to my friends at my wife's expense. Just because it's an old stereotypical joke doesn't mean that it's not hurtful, especially when you're being told you don't do your part as a partner or parent. Sexist jokes are old, but they're certainly not funny now. I wasn't expecting my wife to boast. It would have felt nice, though, but at least say, "Hey, you're wrong," not just go along with it. I didn't shut Stacy down because I was kind of shocked at my wife that she did go along with it when I thought she'd say something to her friend while it was actually happening. It was just so surprising hearing her say all these things that I didn't even know what to think. I knew if I said something when my feelings were hurt and angry as well, it wouldn't have been nice. I had an honest conversation with her, but since it didn't go anywhere, I decided not to use up more of my energy cooking an extra meal before going home after work if she doesn't appreciate it. This isn't revenge. I'd rather make my kids dinner and spend time with them than spend any other time making her food. I'm not going to drag our kids into any issues between us, and that's actually one of the main reasons why what she did hurt me so much. You see, my family life was very dysfunctional growing up. My dad abandoned me when I was 8, and it was my mom on her own doing everything. That's why with my kids, I wanted to go above and beyond, to be there for them always as a father and a husband. So having my wife make it seem like I'm not doing my job has either hurt me more after all the effort to always be there for my family because I don't want them to ever suffer the same way my mom and I did. Finally, I know some of you are wondering about me making food at work. The reason why I can do this is that my boss lets all of his employees do this. It doesn't hurt the business, and he's made it clear from day one that we can use the kitchen to make meals on our off hours as long as we're not disrupting the rest from doing work. This is a good way to make sure most of the ingredients don't go to waste. Also, he's a wealthy man. Trust me, he doesn't care. The owner, my boss, is the real MVP here. Treats us all like, wait for it, human beings. But the day he actually asks us to pay for what we make, then I'll happily cover it. Update 1. At first, I wasn't going to post an update, but since things have gotten better, why not? I didn't show my wife this post like some suggested until a few days later. But before that, she wanted to talk before bed, and she apologized for how she's been behaving with me when she made those jokes and let her friends say things about me. Then how she was acting afterward. In reality, she knew she did wrong, but when I called her out, it made her defensive, and she realizes how she was acting like a child after knowing how much I do for our family. That's when I showed her the post and opened up about something that was mentioned by me in the comments. How it really hit a nerve for me, making it seem like I'm a lousy father and husband when my dad was exactly that. He abandoned me and my mom. She knows how important it is for me to be as involved as possible when our kids were born because I never wanted to be like him. So her making it seem like that's how I am brought up some feelings. Telling her this really made her feel like she messed up big time. She wouldn't stop apologizing. She promised she'd never put me down that way, and honestly, I think she's shown that she meant her apology. For a week, she wanted to be the one making dinner for everyone. So I have some time to relax after work. It was nice, but I also missed making meals for my family. Cooking for my kids is my own way of expressing my love for them, so we're back to that as well. I feel like my wife has more than shown how sorry she is and appreciates what I do for this family. The last time we had lunch with her friend a few days ago on my day off, she even brought it up. As mad as I was when it happened, it's nice to see she's made an effort to make amends. The support I got from here was very sweet. I appreciate feeling heard when it felt like my wife wasn't at the time. Final update. I'm glad that she recognizes how important this is to me and is taking real action to fix the damage. It hurt with her refusing to acknowledge how what she and her friends said made me feel. My family always loved my cooking, so knowing they enjoyed something I made on top of keeping them fed is always a nice reward for me. Actually, my son loves to help out when we make breakfast together and learn how to cook different recipes. I hope he can treasure those moments as I do. Bringing up my dad didn't happen until after she approached me to apologize. My wife was already admitting she was wrong about how she acted and felt bad about it. Talking about why it hit a nerve for me was just something we got into afterward. I get that none of us are perfect, and I'd be lying if I said I never had that knee-jerk reaction to get all defensive, but we do love each other and our kids very much, so I know no matter what, we will always figure things out and improve.